Hey, and welcome back to this Hardspace Shipbreaker playthrough. So I'm going to do a couple more of these sessions, unless there's someone out there specifically wants to see. We just unlocked the Dauntless, the Gecko salvage runner, so we're going to give this a go. So at this point, all the broad structures have been unlocked. The only thing that's left there's like a new hazard type. I was talking to Kai. The only thing that's left are like configurations, right? There's no new ship types to be opened, which is fine. Boop boop boop. And there's the new hazard level as well. So after that hazard level, I think there's a few more configurations. Not sure off the top of my head. I didn't check before starting this. I think we're approaching like a key story event where Hal is just being a complete asshole to Kai. Espousing some... I've never heard this disagree and commit speak in real life. It might be a real thing. In reality, it wouldn't surprise me if it is. It does sound very, you know, LinkedIn adjacent. The kind of nonsense you'd hear someone there babble as if it was like real. But it's kind of the inciting incident to the climax of the narrative. Because he's like saying, no, you can totally disagree with what I'm telling you. That's 100% fine, but so long as you do it anyway, right? Which is absolute management bullshit. Like when you're telling me how to do a job incorrectly, or you're not giving me sufficient training, it's like, well, I disagree that like you say you're giving me sufficient training, and I disagree, but I'm going to continue to do my job anyway. Which is like, but hang on, I don't have enough training. Like that doesn't even make any sense. So yeah, I could see that being a thing that happens in real life. I spent 150 points, mostly just upgrading the Stinger, better heat capacity, better range, nothing really interesting. Alright, we got doors on two sides here. So we've got two halves of this ship, and they are not connected? I can't remember. Right, they are connected through the top. It's like in the walkway area they seem disconnected, but they're not really disconnected. I need an atmosphere thingamabob, which is right there. Let's get the data drive. It's not a thing I need. Oh, there's anything else I need in here. The tool repair kits are long terms. They're always worth. You can just pick them up because they're not used immediately. So these salvage ships can be full of all kinds of junk. Sometimes they have like asteroids inside them. It means that when I pop this, we're going to get a gale force wind coming at us. Or we're not. Okay. Oh, I guess the roof went through. That's why the door slammed shut. That was just silly. Silly and unnecessary. I'm opening that up because it's the easiest way through. Oh, they're not connected. I thought they were connected. Alright, well. We have another atmosphere thingy here, which is helpful. That's a double room. Why are they both going to the same? Oh no, they're two separate rooms. There goes a collectible. I'm sure one of these is a double. Yeah, this one. Okay, now the question is, how do I get to the hole? Oh, there's one over here. Okay, that's good. It's clear. Is the hole pressurized? It is not. Oh, that's good. Okay. Oh, there's no way through there. Like, I didn't think it would be. Maybe the other side connects into the hole. Oh, that's what I was looking. Yeah, that side connects through to the hole. Excellent. Alright, now we can start peeling this guy. Let's just move so we can actually see our stinger. And it's not cutting through stuff we don't want to cut through. I'm going to do the usual thing of trying to cut as much of this loose so I can just peel off the outer hole. Okay, nope, we still got some stuff attached. Yeah, I hope you don't get motion sick. This is not a good game to watch if you get motion sick easily. Or even maybe not even easily. I wonder if this plays in VR. That'd be kind of great. I imagine the controls would be quite radically different. Ah, now here, I need to be less twitchy. There we go, yeah, we're breaking apart. Then the mouse one seemed to be. Oh, there's a way out. Oh, why does that go up so high? Well, whatever. Oh, come on. There we go. Oh, this one still seems to be attached to something. What are you attached to? Nope, wasn't that. Maybe it's something down the bottom. Oh, it is. It's this part here. There we go. I'm just going to break all those tethers so I can make some new ones. Okay, that's not really where I want it to go, but it'll do for now. That's a kind of a way station. Catch on the pipes. Speaking of pipes, let's cut this loose. We just want to get that collar. Go. Come on. progress. Kind of button mashed a whole bunch of things there. Yeah, that'll be fine, and we're ticking down. I'm going to take a quick look at this certification just to see what else opens up. Over the next few certifications. Bear in mind, the certifications are, like, it's true that they open up new gear and new ships, but really they are markers for story beats rather than anything else. Like they're how the story marks progression, and that's their main purpose, more than anything else. So like the more you play, the more the story progresses, and it's kind of an automatic thing. Like as long as you're playing the game the way it's going to be played, if you're playing in career mode, that's the story mode. It's gonna happen. 'Tis inevitable. I also like the little snippets of lore of history and story you get on the in-betweens. They're taking a long time to load. Alright, so you can check certification here. Oh, I can't go up, I have to go down. Interesting. This. And this gives us some more kind of flavor. Blah blah blah. Right. Okay, so I'm at 17 here, so that's where the Gecko Salvage Runner unlocked. Then we have this, I see, you know, there's a whole bunch, excuse me, of certifications here, but none of them actually give you anything game mechanic wise. So these, and I wouldn't even say all of these are story beats, only some of them are story beats, because the story's just about done. And that's your last unlock there. So, really, I'm going to do this ship, the Gecko Salvage Runner, and then we're going to hit 18. And when we hit 18, so I'll play whatever I need to play to get to 18. And if I don't get to 18 on this ship, I may just do it off camera. And then 18 is going to open up hazard level 9. And then we'll do one more ship. And then that'll be the end of the run. Because I don't really care about playing it out the rest of the way. But hazard 9 is as hazardous as they get. And I will maybe do a search to see what is considered to be the most difficult ship, generally speaking, because it's not going to be difficult every single time. And I'll take a swing at that, and then we'll move on. Here we got Hal continuing to be an epic douchebag. Yeah, this is where he pushes Kato beyond Kato's capabilities, really. Okay, so I'm going to cut these tethers. I'm going to send this one. I'm going to send them back here. Because ultimately, the only thing we want with these is to avoid putting them in the furnace. And Kato wipes. And why does Kato wipe? Kato wipes because Hal's a douchebag. If you're not listening to your employees when they tell you that they're insufficiently trained to do a thing and you insist on them doing a thing, and it goes wrong, that's a management issue. That is not a staff issue. Alright, I'm going to go around here because that home marker is messing with my visual. It's getting in the way of what I'm trying to see. I don't know if there's a way to turn it off. I don't normally care, but this happens to be in my way in this particular case. Any more cut points down there? Nope, that looks like I'm all. And that ceiling blew right off. For whatever reason. There's the next one. So whatever the physics engine is, it just builds a lot of tension into the structure, which I think is unfortunate because it doesn't make a lot of sense for it to be there. Oh, I meant to move that guy along. How are we doing? Yeah, okay, those are done. So we're just gonna aim them down there, and you, buddy, are gonna go up to here. Yeah, nothing interesting on the bottom of you. Off you go. And you should be the same. No little fuel tanks or fire tanks stuck to the bottom of you just to annoy the bejesus out of me? No? Okay. Off you go. I kind of feel they might have had thoughts about needing food and drink, and that's why there's so much food and drink in the game. So you could scavenge that stuff if you were like really desperate and trying to save money. That hasn't been indicated anywhere though. That's just like a suspicion of mine. There we go. Hey buddy, would you mind getting the F out of the way? Thank you. Oh, I made a mistake. I made a mistake. I grabbed onto a thing that was locked in place and I hit the force push thing. And I should have let go of the tether of the grapple. I should have let go of that. Because if I do this, I'm going to go flying fucking backwards, but if I let go here, I'm fine. So, I just kind of panicked. And it all went terribly wrong. Didn't die. Look at my suit though. My suit is like half gone. So, you know, don't do that. Don't be like me. Okay, so it looks like the one on the right there, as I'm looking at it, is stuck on something. Yeah, that one is probably still connected to stuff inside the cockpit. So let's take a quick look inside and see if we can free up whatever's connecting it to the cockpit. I believe it's this way. It is. Upside down. Okay. Oh, there it goes. Just needed the gentlest of nudges. Probably. Oh wow, that flew off all the way over there. Anything on the inside of you? Nope. No, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do that. That one broke as well, I'm guessing. Yup. Don't know why. Doesn't really matter at this point. Okay, so we've got a whole bunch of high value stuff right here. That's a whole bunch of XP. We're just telling you 5 minutes left. I love the little cracks on my screen, like see on the left hand side of the info. Like just a big, by the way, you're kind of in trouble. If this were reality, I would be immediately patching that up. Like, there's no way, absolutely no way I would be out here with a cracked helmet. With like zero pressure on the outside and a ton of pressure from the inside. Are you still moving? Oh my god, you both stopped moving. Can you please get a move on? Never mind, don't stop believing. Don't stop moving. This is how we make our money, right? We basically have 3 or 4 things all happening at the same time. This? Oh, that's the front of the ship that never made it. There we go. All pins and needles in my hands. You've stopped dead for reasons. I see a communications terminal. I kind of want to break it because it has a thing in it I need for the ship, which admittedly doesn't matter in this playthrough, but I wouldn't call myself a completionist, but I do have completionist feelings from time to time, and it hurts my completionist feelings to not try and get that done. Close. So we're just going to send this on its way out. Oh, you're also stuck. Okay, we're just going to like gently move them. If we were to force push them out, we'd lose them. Right, but now we can, well, maybe not squeeze past, but we can easily catch up with them. Because there's secretly an atmosphere in here. There like has to be. If there's no atmosphere in here, they should never have stopped, because there'd be no resistance. They should have continued on forever. I know it says unpressurized in a red box on the right hand side of my screen, but I mean that's clearly a lie. Oh, oops. I didn't mean to press G there. Get an SSD, they said. It makes your games load faster, they said. When Starfield came out, I forked out for an SSD because it wasn't loading at all, and I didn't have an SSD at the time. And of course, the game specs said you need an SSD. So, like a sucker, I went out on an SSD. It did not solve my issues. They had an update like a short time later that solved my issues. But at that point, you know, I had an SSD. So I thought, you know, let's see what this does for me. And it did nothing for me. I have to admit, I have not noticed any difference in load times for even older games that I have. Like, it doesn't really matter how old they are. Was Weaver talking to me now? It is kind of a weird conversation. It's kind of inappropriate for a supervisor to be talking to a subordinate about somebody else like this. I think this is fine if you're asking someone to then mentor someone else. But otherwise, you're just saying, yeah, this other employee that I'm in charge of, they kind of suck, eh? That's not really appropriate. Like, if nothing else, it's just mean. It's just not nice. It's because, again, you're in a position of power. And it's gonna get back to them. No one wants to hear from a co-worker that their boss thinks they're incompetent. I mean, they don't want to hear that exact phrase from their boss either. But if you think one of your staff isn't great at their job, well then go get them better, go make them better. You know, get them the training they need. Figure out what's in the way. And if you think that what's in the way is that's just the way they are and they're useless and whatnot, well then, I mean, let me take a step back and go, who hired them? Who made that decision? And was that you? Okay, so now it's still your responsibility. And now they have a livelihood on the line because of your hiring decision. And just firing them, even with notice, even with severance, you're making it difficult for them to feed themselves and their family and pay rent and all that stuff. So the responsibility is fundamentally on the employer. To make either good hiring choices, I'm at tethers, to make good hiring choices, not either, but to make good hiring choices and then to follow it up with good training choices. Because employees don't get to decide if they need more training. They don't. That's they may think they need more training, but if the employer doesn't pay for it, then the employee doesn't get it. Because training, assuming it's internal for a job, is at the discretion of the employer. But if it's some other kind of training, like, so for example, I used to work in IT, so a lot of training would be external. It's like you get Microsoft training or the CompTIA A+, or this kinds of stuff. A lot of the training stuff you would do is priced for corporate purchase. It's not priced for individual use. Like, the expectation is that a company is going to pay for it. So the money being asked for is huge. You know, it's not a consumer level product. Okay, so what if these things go wrong? What if these things go wrong? What happens is, that didn't go half as wrong as I wanted it to. Okay, I'll use the cutter. want it over there, out of the way. Okay, that's weird. There should have been a whole kind of cloud of radiation there. I don't know why there wasn't. So normally there's some like grotesque burst of radiation around those things. That if you cut them wrong, and that radiation will make life bad for you. Like it'll damage other components, it'll damage you. And it'll mess up your scanner in general. I don't know why it didn't do it. That was just weird. Can I squeeze through here? I can. Excellent. Alright, that looks like all of that is taken care of. Well, that's gone wrong, hasn't it? Anything left floating up here? I do. That seems to be too heavy for me to move by myself. This bit at the back is also the processor. Don't know where you're going. Just waiting to see that turn blue. All right. Be careful not to hit that pipe. All right, we want to disconnect this first, because I don't want the airlock shooting off with the structure. Now, what's the ladder connected to, if anything? Oh, it's connected to the innards of the ship. water. For a whole $100. Okay. I'll do that angle. It's a little bit risky. I don't want to clip that pipe. Instead, I'm going to make a mess like this. There we go. Okay, let's go deal with the reactor. I'm gonna need to lose this first. Yeah, take 2. That worked better. Yeah, this pipe is like ludicrously in the way. No, I didn't think I was going to make that, but I did. Oh, pins and needles again. Okay, rotate. Oh, we are not going to rotate. Okay, so that's kind of stuck in there for now. Not really. It'll come out the other side. Jesus. Just fine. There we go. We've got 2.5 minutes to deal with the ECU. I think we can make that. How do I get around? That's loads of time. Okay. I think step 1 is not going all the way in. Where's the last one? Oh, there it is. Okay. Oop, oop, oop. Out we go. And out. And we're golden. Easy peasy. they're still stuck to the pipe. Ugh. That looks like it jumped right there. It is. How lovely. Oh, you're not stuck to the pipe. What are you stuck to then? Oh, yeah, that's gone. Oh, you're stuck to the walkway. There isn't a bit of structure underneath, is there? Nope. Oh, you want to shave off like the smallest sliver of that we can. Oh, that walkway was going to the processor. I didn't need to do that at all. I could have gone with the walkway into the processor. Oh well. Let's do a quick calculation here. So there's basically just 320 MP left. Yeah, that won't put me up a rank. So I will go up a rank off camera. I'll do like a tiny ship just to get like, it's gonna leave me, it's not 320, it's 316, so that'll put me up to 618. It's gonna leave me like 7 XP shy of going up that rank. So I guess I'll do like some hazard 1 nonsense ship for about 5 minutes just to get the 8 XP I need. And then do a hazard 9 ship on camera. Why are you like this? There we go. Okay. We need to do something. And given this is a game about unionization, you can probably see where this is going. It's not a strike, because a strike would be ineffective in this situation, because, well, let's not get into that yet. Yeah, we need to do something. Dee Dee, for some reason, is allergic to unions. Yeah, so this is someone who's kind of like, you're in an abusive relationship. Like the way your relationship with the corporation is an abusive relationship, and I don't mean that in the sense that trivialize domestic violence. I just mean there are many kinds of abusive relationships, of which domestic violence is one. This is a different kind. So the concern is that the union comes in, the corporation gets mad, the union fails to change things, and the corporation punishes everyone else, right? And that's the fear of people in abusive relationships about trying to change the relationship. That if they try to change and it fails, they end up in a worse situation than they started with, which is a highly rational fear. So we have industrial action. An industrial action is typically a strike. Dee refuses. Cato kind of refuses. Weaver is useless. Alright. An industrial action only works provided everyone does the thing. One person going on strike is just one person not showing up for work, and you can just be replaced. So it has to be, it's an all or nothing thing. And ideally, it would have to be more than one station. Because if only one station does it, it can be effective. But a company could decide, if it's only a single station, to cut their losses with that. And there'd be bigger losses, of course, but they still decide, screw it, we'll just fire everybody. It's always an option. Whereas if the entire workforce shuts down, they're screwed. So let's take case in point. Right now, Amazon has a warehouse in Canada that has recently unionized, and they're just shutting down the whole warehouse. Which is illegal. But Bezos don't care. Amazon doesn't care. Laws are only laws insofar as they can be enforced, and if somebody is wealthy enough to pay the fine, or whatever it is, whatever the consequence is, then the law doesn't matter. And that is actually the biggest problem with billionaires, is that if the laws they break aren't criminal, if they're merely civil and have financial penalties, then they effectively don't have penalties, especially if they're the penalties are measured in the kind of money that would be bad for normal people is like nothing to someone like Bezos, right? So it would have to be at, like, in terms of how many days worth of profit, which has been floated a few times in laws, that if a company breaks a law, the fine they face isn't a set fee, but they have to pay, a week's worth of revenue in order to rectify the situation, is their fine. And it's also important that it's revenue and not merely profit, otherwise they will massage the books, just as Hollywood is wont to do, so that their profit will suddenly magically be zero for that period of time, so they'll end up not having to pay anything. I want to get rid of this pipe. This pipe is bothering me. I should just be able to send that over there. And I believe there was fuel hanging about inside. Oh, I may have been optimistic about that pipe. I think it might get caught. But I guess we'll see when I pop my head back out. Oh, I could have patched up the suit. Oh well. Not gonna need you. Not gonna need you. Not gonna need you. Ah, that's what I was looking for. So really the only kind of unionization effort that's going to work with Amazon is if multiple warehouses / all the warehouses unionize pretty much simultaneously. Because if you just do them piecemeal, Amazon will just keep shutting them down. Especially if they're in places where they're allowed to just shut them down, like in the US, other countries like that, that have virtually no worker protections. I think the other one's over here. Yes, it is. There it is. I almost just went in and grabbed it without even checking the sequence. That would have been silly. And painful. Buddy, you're going the wrong way. There we go. I guess technically I don't need to pull this out. It'll go with the rest of it when I send it in. I don't know. I kind of like pulling them off. Oh, that would have been a handy little shortcut to get in and out of here as well. Ah well. Come on, come on. Alright. Seeing as this needs to go into the processor, kind of done with all the low-hanging fruit at this point. Yeah, I guess I could have pulled the whole wall off first, eh, before trying to thread the ECU out through the hole. Would make just as much sense. Air filter. Wants to go to large. it's stuck to something. Oh, it's stuck to the beds. Of course it's stuck to the beds. Oops. There we go. Can I leave the bottom bed attached? I kinda can. What's the mattress worth? Oh, I can take the mattress off separately. Nice. That worked out well. Whoops. All right. Start emptying this out. This other high value stuff. Amazon or Walmart pull this crap before. So like there's laws in Canada that say like if a place unionizes, it's illegal to shut it down in the face of unionization. And I mean, it's a fair question to ask. Like, what does that mean to be illegal? Like if they've already committed to shutting down the location. Like you can't stop them shutting it down. And off the top of my head, I don't know. And I think the answer is not enough, because they're still doing it. So laws are supposed to have a deterrent effect. Now, they do and they don't. So there are some crimes that people commit that are simply choices made out of weighing the pros and cons of doing things. So, like, for example, the death penalty is not a deterrent in any way to crime. And the evidence of this is, well, the United States of America, which, if you look at like places like Texas, which have twice or three times the death penalty implementation than other states around them, but they still have the same or higher rates of crime that would warrant the death penalty, or warrant according to those states' reasoning. Either Texans would be committing even more murders than they would without the death penalty, which is a banana statement, or the death penalty has no deterrent effect. And that's mostly because people don't sit down and decide to do murders. Murders are often a crime of passion. Never mind the fact that the death penalty, and I think that's the important part, even setting aside like who is typically the target of the death penalty, which are often folk with mental deficiencies, people of colour. In addition, that's not conflating those two groups, although the people who are targeted are often people of colour who also have mental deficiencies. So if one were the calculating sort, like a white dude who does not suffer from any kind of mental deficiencies, would just be like, no, I could commit this murder, odds are I'm going to spend 20 to 25 years in jail, I'm not going to be given the electric chair. Right? But that's not how people do murder. People do murder as a crime of passion. Typically, it's not a calculated thing. It's a shit happens kind of thing. Whereas a store has been unionized, therefore we must shut it down, is absolutely a calculated thing. And it is absolutely a weighing of pros and cons about whether or not one should do that or not. Like, is it more profitable for us to shut it down? Like, a perfect case in point is, like, I think it was the Fiat Pinto. There have been numerous cases where cars that have basically exploded on the road, and there's documentation showing that the board went in and they calculated the cost of the recall versus the cost of the fines, and the cost of the recall was higher than the cost of the fines, so they didn't do the recall, they just let people die. And these are fairly clear cases where the penalty is a deterrent, is a measurable deterrent, is demonstrably a deterrent, because the penalty factored into the calculation of whether or not to do the crime. So the question then becomes, well, if Walmart and Amazon and these other scumbags are continuing to violate the law against shutting down unionized workplaces because it's cheaper than essentially letting the poison of unionization into the franchise, the penalties aren't high enough. The penalties need to be higher. How high should the penalties be? I don't know. How high can we go? How about we say, if you go to shut down a workplace, it's nationalized. That store immediately becomes nationalized. The problem with a distribution store warehouse is that now you're like, well, what products do we distribute? Because we no longer distribute Amazon. Or you say, all of your locations become nationalized. All of your locations are now seized. You no longer get to do business in this country. I don't know, can I, I can't escape, I can't affect sound on this, because I've already turned I've turned the audio down. And there's no way for me to turn the speech back up. So, obviously he's on the mailing list for Lou's union meetings. Her union mailing list. Because, corporations try to infiltrate unions in order to find out what's going on before it happens. And schmucks like hell will volunteer to do it because, again, they're confused about where their interests actually lie. Because they think their interests are in line with the corporation, when they're not. Right, he's currently reading out Lou's email. Right. That's the whole point of a nutshell, actually, is to show you, look, this is where your money comes from. We are the money. Our labor is the money. And without it, we're done. You don't have money. And that's why Amazon and Walmart are terrified of unionization. Roy Paulson in this is supposed to be the CEO, and this is standard CEO bullshit. Yeah, predatory union organizers, and that's standard anti-union shit. If you look at the anti-union posters that float around Amazon and Walmart, you will see this stuff. terrible act of violence. A terrible act of violence was just probably going to be to put down tools. Now, here's why it's important to read your contracts. Anything produced by Lynx equipment is the sole property of Lynx. Imply includes the genetic assets produced by our work. So when you die, like when you arrive, you were cloned and you were also killed. So you're starting, your first initial body is a cloned body, which is owned by Lynx. So now you are literally a slave. You are owned by Lynx. Now, again, let's be very clear to distinguish this from the slavery in the United States. This is not chattel slavery. Like, your children aren't owned because they are your children, although, I mean, the game doesn't get into that, so let's just assume that's not the case. All of your money gets turned over to Lynx, because they own everything. And the Lynx, the vehicle you were fixing up outside, I think that was introduced into the game really just to give you an additional emotional investment in this, so you can actually feel something. Because otherwise you wouldn't have any emotional connection to this narrative. Disagree and commit. Disagree with me and commit to do the work. How do you do that? You disagree with being owned by the corporation, but you commit to being owned by the corporation. That's why these phrases, these corporate slogans, are such vapid and evil noise. That was a twist I was going to talk about union action. Why it's so less effective on a small scale here. Because if the company owns you, it doesn't matter if one person tries to do something. They're just like, yeah, we're just going to shut you down. No more clones for you. We're going to leave your still Lynx property. And this schmuck thinks that's a good thing. Just as in real life, out in the world, there are chumps out there who think it's a good thing that the corporations are in charge. The harsh phrase for these folk is class traitor. I think that implies a level of knowledge and understanding that these folk broadly lack. I don't think I mean, they are class traitors in effect, but I think in reality they're just ignorant schmucks who, again, mistakenly believe that the interests of a corporation align with their interests when they don't. And they'll find out one day. Just, it won't be a pleasant experience when they find out. Because it will very much feel like the ground being pulled out from under them, where they get betrayed in their mind by the corporation and be like, oh, but hang on, we were on the same side. It's like, no, you were a useful chump. If the next big plot thing happens off camera, I'll just report back on it, because I'm sure the 5 viewers I have, the 2 viewers I have, can't wait to hear my take on it. Well, actually, yeah, no, it's not a mission I'm going to do on camera, period, so I might as well just talk about it. So what happens next is industrial action. So a mission you're given is basically you're told to trash the ship, and you end up like throwing the power core into like the reactor into the furnace and all this kinds of stuff. It's kind of hilarious because like Hal is like freaking out over it. So that's cathartic, right? Feels good because he's such a worm, and ultimately because you can't strike. And bear in mind, strikes are non-destructive. Like the company will lose profit due to a lack of labor for a period of time, and that's one thing. It's a whole other thing for employees to start actively destroying the stuff that's being salvaged, and actively sabotaging the corporation, which is like, you know. We had a peaceful option and you said no, so guess what we're doing instead? Declaring war cuts both ways. Now, I'm not sure. I think you do have the option in that mission to side with the corporation, like to not destroy the things. I'm not actually sure because I've never done it, so I might do that on my own playthrough off camera, just to see if that's an option. Because I think it occurred to me after I'd done it that I could have not. I could have not worked with the union, which, I mean, that's not really an option. Realistically, why would I not work with the union? Like I would much rather sabotage my own chance at, you know, having a decent work life. Seems weird. Okay. The easiest way to get this thing out is to get it from above. I think. Oh bugger. Did not make it? Oh, it did. There's nothing really left that's worth a lot. There's a lot of little bits here and there. I don't think I really want to fight it. Cutting these off is a bit of a pain. It's hard to see how they connect, and it looks like they connect to the structure. There was a time. Okay, see, that's a problem. They're structure, but you can't cut them. You can cut this thing, but the question is that what's holding it together? I don't know. I've never really figured out this one. Like what the connection points are. I think it's the corners. The dark orange. I think. But they're not cuttable. Oh no, I'm wrong, they are cuttable. I think it's these. I may be wrong. Let's find out. Well, holy God, as Miley says. Is it just the corners then? Because it was when I cut the second corner release, like, can I skip the middle bit, or is the middle bit needed as well? Oh, middle bit is needed as well, okay. Those drove me mad for the longest time. I couldn't figure out how to disconnect them for a very long time. So you see how structure view helps. Okay. You're worth 12k, so you're nothing. Still connected to something. So let's get rid of these cut points. Cut point singular will become I see, you're going to be a pain in the ass about it. Really, you're going to be a major jerk about it. Oh, this is pretty much worthless. It's only 5k, don't care. Okay, am I gonna try to fight and find some high value things to get to the end? I don't think so. I'm gonna end this shift though. I'm gonna wrap out this shift. So we'll take whatever high value stuff we can out of this shift. But I'm pretty sure there isn't enough here to get me up. Like in terms of just single objects I can pull out that I can get to the very end. I think the vast majority of this just needs to be thrown into the furnace. Because I don't see anything else that's like majorly high value. Yeah, there's those can I imagine that? Oh no, they're in the next compartment. There's a couple of valuable things in here, I think. Oh, what's with all the walls in the way? These guys, what are these worth? 60k. That's something. And they're a major pain in the ass to get out. Yeah, it's mostly not worth it. And I can't even slice up the ship fast enough to get it into the furnace. But let's see if I can. Of course, it's not helping if I keep changing targets. You're over 20k. Well, you're quite valuable. Absolutely not going to make it. And I don't feel like doing another shift on the dregs of the ship. So, you know, sometimes it's just not worth chasing after the last little section. It is definitely not for me, not for like the amount of MP that's left. Oh, I did go up. Huh. I'm clearly bad at counting. Alright, well, I'm going to wrap it up here for today. And I will see you next time for whatever Hazard 9 ship I have in store. And I will talk to you then. Cheerio.